Traders, are we still bullish? US dollar, is the euro and the pound making a comeback? Bitcoin is past the 100,000 level, and is oil a buy or a sell? Well, let's take a look. Welcome to Simply Forex, the channel that gives you in-depth market analysis, trade ideas, tips and advice so you too can succeed at trading. And if you stay till the end of the vid, guys, I'm also going to give you all of my swing trades for this week. If that sounds like a plan, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, smash the notification button, and please smash that like button. As always, guys, we have got a shed load to get through. So where to start? Well, we're going to look at US dollar, is it still bullish? We're going to take a look at euro and pound. We're also going to look at oil, and does that mean Canadian dollar strength or weakness as well? We'll take a quick look at Bitcoin, and we've also got a couple of flight to safety opportunities as well. But let's start with the US dollar. So guys, this is the dollar index, and this is the weekly chart. And as you can see, the dollar's making a comeback, right? That is 3 consecutive weeks of bullish candles, right? And we are literally at the $100 level, literally to a cent, right? And we're still very overextended, right? Down here, we're very overextended. Look at the moving average 20, right? Price wants to revert back to the mean. So looking at the dollar index, we've got 3 consecutive bullish candles. We've still got lots of room to move back into before it potentially becomes a sell trade again. So there's more room for the dollar to move into, right? I think looking at this chart, we can expect more US dollar strength. And has that led to trades? And the answer is, you know, across the board, really. I mean, all US dollar majors pretty much. So if we look at euro US dollar, this actually came down and hit our first target here. But again, 3 consecutive weeks of selling pressure. I still think this has more room to the downside. If we look at pound US dollar, literally any of them. So pound had a bit of strength last week, which we'll look at that a bit later on. But just looking at this weekly chart, look at these 3 wicks. The 3 musketeers, we're going to call them. This still has room to the downside and didn't quite hit this target here, this 1.3200, right? So that has more room. Let's pick some US dollar pairs down here, right? US dollar CAD. Look at that nice big bullish weekly candle. That has room to move into. Let's have a look at US dollar yen. Bullish, bullish, bullish. That still has a bit more room to move into. All right. So yeah, overall still bullish US dollar. And I think old Trumpy boy, you know, doesn't want to be the president that makes the US, the dollar collapse, right? And the weakest dollar ever. Or does he want a weak dollar, right? And the answer is, who knows? Only he knows. And, you know, all these analysts that says he wants this for the dollar, they don't know. Right, but what we're seeing on the chart in terms of the facts, we're seeing some US dollar strength continuing this week as well, guys, right? So that's the US dollar. Let's now start with, let's have a look at the euro, right? Because as we know with the euro, if we take a look at euro Aussie dollar, now the euro was stronger than, you know, Hulk Hogan in the 80s and 90s. Right? And it was just flying. The euro was flying. But ever since we got to this overextended point, the euro has been backtracking massively, retracing. Right? But ultimately it's still in an uptrend. And we've literally bounced off the last piece of resistance becomes good support. And we actually took some sells last week on euro Aussie dollar, right? Now, is that candle enough to start getting excited about buying euro Aussie dollar back? And the answer is no, right? I don't want to sell it anymore, right? And this is the same pretty much across all euro pairs. I don't want to sell it anymore because we're at a support level, but the reaction we've had at that support level isn't bullish enough, right? So this is the problem we're having with the euro. So I'm going to show you a couple of euro trades now, one that is euro weakness and one that is euro strength. Okay, so and that plays into this idea of will it, won't it? But again, I'm just going to show you the facts of the chart and show you my setups, right? So one such pair that I want to sell is euro Canadian dollar, right? And again, we're gonna look at oil later on and how this plays into Canadian dollar strength, right? We know that correlation. If oil is flying, then Canadian dollar is strong, right? And we saw some strength come into the Canadian dollar last week, for sure we did. You know, if we look at the day chart first, right? You know, look at all of this Canadian dollar strength, and then every time it gets to this level, right, it keeps reacting. And obviously, because on the day chart, we are in a downtrend and we've retraced to a key area of resistance. Now, the real question is, will this level hold? And I think that'll have, you know, to a large extent to do with how oil performs, right? Plus other things. But, you know, oil is important to Canadian dollar. And as you can see, it is still holding. This level is still holding. Now, if we go to the weekly chart, you will see we're still bearish, right? This is a key weekly resistance level, bearish, bearish, and this candle isn't exactly bullish. It's got a top wick, right? So I still think there's room to the downside for euro Canadian dollar, and that plays into this idea of Canadian dollar strength, right? And euro weakness. All right, so that's a trade idea. Euro Canadian dollar sells. But on the flip side of that, right, I also like euro Swiss franc buys. And this is a bit of a monthly play as well, guys, right? If you look at that monthly chart, right, this area is a, you know, in the words of Gandalf, you shall not pass, right? That's that kind of area, right? You get them on charts now and again, and like buyers are hardcore Gandalf, right? They are not letting that pass. And you can see we had a, you know, a nice wick bounce off that level. And ultimately, guys, right, we broke this level in here with this monthly candle. So the monthly is really still bullish, right? Now, if we drop down to the weekly chart, it's a bit of a mess, right? But this is that monthly level, right? And what I'm going to show you here, guys, is an inside candle bar, right? And this is how we roll with inside candles. And it's a 3 candle setup, right? Now, this is candle 1, candle 2, and candle 3. This is the 3 candle setup. So candle 1, right, is the larger candle, right? And then candle 2 has closed within that candle. So that is an inside candle. And then the trigger candle, the entry candle, if you like, is when you get a wick close back into the inside candle. I hope that makes sense and it's not clear as mud. Okay, if it is clear as mud, then please complain to Simply Forex Dubai and title it for the editor, not me. Right, but this is, so this wick has closed back into this inside bar, right? This inside bar. And that makes that a buying opportunity, right? Back up to these highs, if not all the way back up to this level here. And that's also supported by that monthly chart, that monthly support level. And, you know, there's a bit of a, you know, quite some bullish pressure here as well. So euro Swiss franc, because of that inside candle pattern, I'm looking to buy. If you had a wick that did this to the upside, yeah, on an inside candle, that would become a sell trade. As you can see, the wick closed back into that and it's a buy trade. All right. So euro Swiss franc, we're looking to buy it back up to here. So that shows you what we're seeing with the euro, right? And also, you know, euro pound's an interesting one because we're going to look at pound in a second as well. Now, if I showed you this chart, Well, I am showing you this chart, not if, I will. Right, we're in a weekly uptrend, right? No two ways about it. Remember, we only deal in facts, not what we think, right? Never, this is going to be quite a controversial saying, but don't think in trading, right? Just trade what you see, the facts on the chart. And the facts are this, right? We are in an uptrend, higher lows, higher highs. And another fact is that we are at a key level of support, right? Another fact. Now, if I had a nice big bullish wick like this bounce off this level, I would be all over buying euro pound. I really would. But as it happens, we have a bloody big bearish candle. And I do not want to buy that. Okay, it's as simple as that. So although it's at a lovely level, I cannot buy that candle. So euro pound is a bit of a stalemate, right? And pound, again, as you remember, was very strong, right, for a couple of weeks ago. But is that strength back as well? Because last week, when we had the pound interest rate decision, that was as expected, but two members of the Bank of England voted to not lower interest rates for the next Bank of England meeting, right? So that led to pound strength last week as well, right? Because if you look at any pound pair, look at this, right? So pound Aussie dollar, weekly chart, right? That is a sell trade all day, right? But then look at this week. That pound made a comeback on the back of that Bank of England interest rate decision and what the members voted, right? You look at any of them, pound CAD, right? A week ago, that is a sell trade all day long, and then Bank of England happened. It's the same for all of them, right? Pound Swiss franc, we were thinking maybe is this a nice area in here for selling, and then bang, So this pound strength is news driven off the back of that Bank of England meeting. Has it led to trades? The answer is no, right? Because the answer is no, simply because you have this complete contradiction. And you can just see that in these two weekly candles, right? It's just yin and yang, right? I don't want to trade that one way or the other. There's a very good argument to sell that. There's now a good argument to buy that, right? Same with pound Canadian dollar. It's just contradiction, right? A week ago, selling. This week, don't know now, right? So pound has become difficult to trade. If you just look at the way the pound's been, like if we go to pound Aussie dollar, and we look at the H4 chart, just look at these swings that you get, right? You get this massive bullish reaction, you get a massive swing down, right? You get a bullish reaction, a massive swing down. I was actually selling this candle, right, on Friday, and I'm thinking, great, right? And then a massive push up. It's become very difficult to trade the pound, right? So I'm not seeing a setup, and that's a good thing, right? Because it has become tricky to trade the pound. So pound, we're sort of staying away from for this week. Having said that, there is one pound pair that I'm looking at, but this is more yen weakness, and that is pound yen, right? So if we go to the weekly chart, because these are all swing trades, guys, right? That's why we're looking at the weekly chart. And pound yen is a buy, right? But before we look at the reasons why this is a buy trade, if I could please ask everyone to subscribe to the channel, smash the notification button, and please smash the like button. Also, guys, if you haven't already, please come join our trading community. It is free. You can talk about trading, share trade ideas, have a chit chat about what you did at the weekend. So please come join our free Discord channel. And right now, if you do, we are going to give you a 50% off code for our complete Simply Forex trading course. So get your code, join our community, and take advantage of the course if you wish. Also, guys, if you want access to all of our premium trading education, then please go check out our website, www.simply-forex.com. On there, we've got the course that I just mentioned. We've got the mentorship program where I coach you one-on-one. And we've also got the VIP Trading Academy. So go check all of that out. It's all on the website. Also, guys, please don't forget to leave a comment, right? Do you like my trade ideas? What are you looking at? And also, I want you to tell me what you struggle with when it comes to trading, because we will make some tutorials about that. So don't be shy. Come tell us what you find difficult in trading. We will make a vid especially for you. Right, pound yen. Let's carry on with this analysis. So we've got a couple of yen pairs, shall I say, that we're looking at. The first one is pound yen, right? And we are basically in this range, right? So price came down. We were in a downtrend, but now price is just ranging, right? And as you can see, we have bullish, 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 and we still have room to move into to come back to the top of the range. So pound yen is a buy trade for this week as well. And it's looking pretty good on the day chart too, guys, right? We're clearly in this uptrend, right? Very bullish. Yeah, we get a bit of a pullback and then we can take price back up to here. And that's on the, obviously that's playing into that, you know, Bank of England not lowering interest rates as well, right? So pound yen. I also like Canadian dollar yen, and we spoke about Canadian dollar earlier. And again, you know, the CAD got some strength last week, and we'll look at oil and see if that's a buy or a sell. Now, as you can see, let's go to the weekly chart. Well, let's start with the daily chart as we're on the daily chart, right? We are clearly in an uptrend. We have a bullish candle. And this candle isn't that bearish, right? It has a bit of a bottom wick, right? It's rejected this level through here. And then if we go to the weekly chart, there's still a bit more room for me for this to move into, right? Again, this is in a range, right? We're ranging between this level here and these lows here. Very similar to pound yen. Obviously, they're highly correlated. Big bullish candle. That is a bullish candle. And I think we can make it back up to the top of this range and this 105.50 level. Okay. So yeah, Canadian dollar yen is a buy trade as well. What else are we looking at? So we've done that one, okay, let's take a look at oil, because we've been mentioning that quite a bit. Let's take a look at West Texan Intermediate. Now, if I showed you the weekly chart, right, there is a very strong argument for buys, right? We was in this weekly downtrend. We know Trumpy boy made oil weak, and we're kind of seeing a double bottom pattern, right? Yeah, double bottom or a W pattern, whatever you want to call it. But we, at these lows, we have had a very bullish weekly candle form. That is actually a bullish engulfing candlestick pattern, right? Because it closes above halfway of this candle. We're doing all the candlestick patterns today. How interesting. So, you know, looking at the weekly chart, I would say we could take price back up to here, right? Maybe this finds a bit of a range between here and here, right? Very strong case for that on the weekly chart. But if I showed you the monthly chart, you know, look at that. That is nothing but a sell trade, right? Right, we're in a downtrend, you know, but when price gets back to here, that becomes a very nice sell trade. So if we did start buying oil, we are playing that monthly retrace into here, and then we'd be very much interested in selling. All right, so I think we can play that retrace, and judging by this weekly candle, you know, oil does have some room to move into as well. And remember the correlation with Canadian dollar. If we do see that oil strength, that will play nicely into Canadian dollar strength and a couple of the trades that I've already shown you as well. EuroCAD sells and CAD yen buys. There's more, guys. Don't go anywhere. Let's take a quick look at Bitcoin as well. So Bitcoin was just flying, right? it's been flying, but difficult to get into, right? Ever since we broke that level, we've had a structure break, but it just hasn't retraced, right? I want to retrace into here, or, you know, as it comes up here, I want to retrace back into there, right? There was just no retrace. It was just kapow, right? In the words of Batman, kapow, just total Bitcoin strength. But now it's back up at these highs, and all of a sudden there's no value in it, right? You know, so what we want to see is a retrace, right? If we start getting retraces even towards the moving average 20, maybe back into this level, then Bitcoin does become attractive. Right now, there's no value for me. And guys, I have got one more trade idea for you, and that is Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, right? Now, if we look at the weekly chart, again, right, it was a bit messy, bang, bang, bang. We're in a downtrend, right? But ever since we've hit this support level, we've had this nice big bullish candle followed by another bullish candle. That candle's bullish. So Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, I think we still have room to take back up to this 1.0900 level. And then the moving average catches up. This could potentially be a nice selling area. But right now, Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, still a buy trade. Right, guys, and yeah, that is the weekly forecast. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, smash the notification button, and smash that like button. Also, come join us for the live streams during the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 8 a.m. EST. Go check out the website for our premium trading education, and please come join our trading community. Also, don't forget to leave a comment. Thank you very much, guys. Have a great trading week.